First of all, this is something that I haven't thought of doing in the past months that I've been running this small channel of mine. But I just want to explain the situation to many VTuber fans out there who are too lazy to research the controversy. So I decided to just create this, while also tackling another closely related subject.
シアちゃん結婚しよう。みんな愛にそうやって言ってくるけど、取り消しは聞かないからね。その言ったことを後悔しないように。はあ、今日も配信始まっちゃったな。え？どうしたの？草？なんで草生えてるの？
On February 24, 2022, Cover Corp, the company behind the group of famous Vtuber idols known as Hololive, announced the termination of one of its talents, Uruha Rushia. This came as a huge surprise to a lot of Vtuber fans, including myself. But we asked the question, just how did it come to this? Before we get to the controversy, I'd like to introduce Rushia to the people watching who don't know. Uruha Rushia is a Vtuber talent who debuted for Hololive on the 18th of July back in 2019, under the generation that was coined Hololive Fantasy, alongside other now famous VTubers such as Usada Pekora, Shirogane Noel, Shiranui Flare, and Hosha Marine. She was famous for having the loudest and ear-raping scream in all of Hololive.
ピエンないじゃん、もう。ピエンない、いいのこれ。ないよ。え、ヘッドホン？
Other than that, she had a unique persona change roleplay kind of thing from a normal caring girlfriend to a yandere, which a lot of her fans loved. Emphasis on the lot because shit's about to get real later on. Of course, she was pretty much famous for one special thing about her. Things were going well for Rushia. She even became one of the VTubers with the most revenue earned through super chats of all time, even surpassing the also graduated Kiryu Koko, as you can see in this picture. And now, I ask you these questions. Do you see the problem? Do you understand what I've been trying to point out all this time? Her VTuber persona and all the money she earns from it, it all means something. And that something might be too dark for you if you think that people are the goody two-shoes you think they are. Japan is famous for its growing idol industry, even evolving to the VTuber idol industry that it has become today. Ever since the pandemic began and the world had no choice but to stay in their own homes, companies such as Cover Corp took their chance. They had already started their now famous Hololive project at the end of 2019, just in time as the COVID pandemic was about to set in and become the new normal for everyone. With less outdoor content to be made thanks to the situation, people were made to turn to content created online.
Long before time had a name, the first Spinjitzu master created ninja.
And one thing that caught the eyes of many was the growing trend in VTubing. In just 2020 alone, it has grown more beyond what meets the eye. Yet, there's always something faulty about the idol industry, and I doubt Japan's entertainment industry will do something to change that anytime soon. Not only can this be blamed on the industry, but the community as well. Japanese society is not what you think it is. If you watch idol groups online, you would think that they're having the happiest time of their lives and are enjoying their job. And yes, that is possible for some, but not for all. According to some sources, the idol industry is much more complicated and darker than you'd think. An article made by Japan Info back in 2019 exposes the darker sides of this industry. According to the article, idols are expected to project a picture of innocence, stating that idols are, above all, expected to be purer than pure, flawless, angel-like beings. The image of innocence and naivety is very attractive and strong in Japan. What this means is that, if you're an idol, you should never let anyone know if you have a romantic relationship with anyone. Most of the time, Japanese idols are forced to sacrifice all of these for the sake of their career. The first one might be fine to hear, but the other two is way too disgusting to even imagine, knowing that these could be happening right now. If you think sacrificing any romance for the sake of your career isn't difficult at all, then you might be right. But what do you think about being sexually exploited and having to deal with creeps?
信頼する家族から怒られる理由が当
According to the article, there have been many reports made by idols who were sexually exploited by the companies they work for. One such story states that an idol in Japan was even made to apologize even after being abused. If you think that's not bad enough, then imagine the others that were reported. Thankfully, Cover Corp is a company that cares for its idols' well-being. Now having to deal with creeps is pretty self-explanatory, but if you're still confused, then let's go back to Rushia. You'll understand as we go further. In the early days of February, Rushia has a collab with the first generation Vtuber Sakuramiko. They're just playing a game of GTA 5 until something unexpected appears on Rushia's stream. If you look closely at the clip, you will see a Discord message pop up at the top left of Rushia's screen. Russia didn't know that she had streamed her entire screen. The message is shown to have come from Mafumafu, a famous otaite known for singing covers of songs such as Life Hates Us Now. The message reads, "I'm coming home, Mi-chan." You might be wondering, this doesn't say much, but to some extreme fans, it means a lot of them. Remember what I said about idols needing to project that picture of innocence? Well, here it comes. Have you ever heard of the word gachikoi? If not, it's a Japanese word for fans that take extreme measures or fantasize about being in a romantic relationship with said idol. In this case, Uruha Rushia. Like what the title of this video says, they're freaking disgusting. Let me show you a conversation between a normal person and a gachikoi to give you a clear understanding. "Hey, I've been watching this new VTuber named Uruha Rushia. She's pretty cool." "You mean my wife? Is she cheating on me? No way, she's cheating on me?" I think that explains a lot. You might be doubting what I just said, but open your mind, humans are weird. If you thought Japan was the utopia that you think in your dreams or fantasies, then boy, you are in for a world of surprises. It's not. It might be beautiful in its own ways, but there are dark things about it just lurking about. Going back to the Rushia situation, there had already been speculations back in 2018 that Mafumafu and Rushia might be dating, and seeing this message only pushed that speculation closer to the realm of reality. I know, you're thinking that it's fine for idols to have relationships, right? Like I said before, no, at least that is what Japan says. I was happy for them when I found out, but those gachikois, being the no-life human beings they are, just want to ruin everything to further fuel their fantasies. Feeling betrayed, they make the situation much worse than it already is. Now imagine a world without them. But that's not the reality we live in. Time to let it sink. Cover Corp then starts working to try and find a solution to the situation. Meanwhile, Rushia does not stream for days and remains inactive until everything is sorted out. It started tame. Cover Corp announced the situation, thanking the fans for supporting her all this time and just hoping for the best. Unfortunately, that is not what happens. Behind the scenes, Rushia shared information on the situation to a man by the name Korekore, who is supposed to be a friend to both Mafumafu and her. What she didn't know though is that this man, Korekore, would go on to leak everything she'd say for the whole public to know. I'm not sure if this was the exact reason, but this was said to be one of the things that caused her contract to be terminated. I'm not too sure about my thoughts on this one, but in a way, Rushia caused her own contract's termination. Sharing some information might be okay for other countries, but for the world that these kind of people live in, they would prefer not to try. There is the stigma in Japanese entertainment culture that forbids idols from doing things like falling in love, like I said earlier, and I doubt it'll be gone anytime soon. Uruha Rushia was one of the Vtubers, the best Vtubers for many of her fans and Vtuber fans in general. And we knew this day would come, but we did not expect it to be this soon. We can only turn to the future and hope the best for her. I hope you learned something from this. If you didn't, then I'll just say it anyway. Do not put too much trust in someone you barely know, especially ones you can keep a secret. But if you know Vtubers, then you know they're never gone.
Twenty-seven. これだな。パーツがどんどんと減ってきてますよ、皆さん。